Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart here on Rogue Media Sports Network. Boy, have I been thrown for a loop this morning with the news of an estate sale with a bunch of old minor league hockey equipment being sold off, man. I mean, how could you not be distracted? But today on the show, we're talking a lot of Patriots. Mike Vrabel being compared to Bill Belichick, and honestly, it's not that bad a comparison, but we'll give you the reason why Mike Vrabel is a lot different. The one area that he is a lot different than Bill Belichick in. We will also talk about the tight end GOAT debate because it's coming up a lot more. Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, the numbers that people are ignoring that tips the scales in Gronk's favor. And finally, the Red Sox may be going for irony this week in the winter meetings as they are looking to trade for someone they traded just last year. How can they make this work, and can they be the ultimate winners of the trade? All that and more coming up on this episode of the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. But we start where we start. It's in the thumbnail. It is why you're here. By the way, we are live on YouTube 5 days a week, noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio right here. And where we start is what Boston is talking about. Boston's been talking about the Patriots all season long. And the turnaround under Drake May, sure, but really under the tutelage of Mike Vrabel. The son, the native son, so to speak, because he won 3 Super Bowls here, coming home and leading the team, which he should have been doing during the 2024 season. But here he is, and here they are at 11-2. So now people are already talking. Is Mike Vrabel the new Bill Belichick? Well, as Dennis Quaid put it in the mediocre sports movie The Express, when talking to Ernie Davis's character about Jim Brown, God, I hope not. And God, I hope so. In a piece by Mike Sando of The Athletic, one anonymous NFL coach said of Vrabel, Vrabel is a modern version of Bill Belichick. Right there. Modern version of Bill. As if, Bill is still coaching, by the way. I know he doesn't scream modern, but he is still coaching. Vrabel is a modern version of Bill Belichick. Understands all the fundamentals and is really good at situational football, this anonymous NFL coach said. The difference is Bill would never drop the red challenge flag like he's dropping a water balloon on his friend's toe. Bill would never win a challenge or have a big call on the field and motion for a first down on the sideline like he's Michael Irvin in the middle of the star. Sounds a little bitter at the end there. Okay. I'll tell you what. The results so far are pretty Belichickian, if I say so myself. 11-2, top of the league, looking for that number 1 seed in the AFC, which Bill, of course, accomplished so many times. And yes, Mike Vrabel certainly carries himself with an intensity and perhaps a ruthlessness that kind of made Belichick an icon. But for starters, like most NFL coaches, Mike Vrabel came in, he made sure his new team and staff were built in his image, very much like Belichick, to a fault sometimes with Bill Belichick, especially at the end of his career. It was always Belichick guys. That's how you get a situation where Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, this former special teams coordinator and defensive coordinator, are coaching your second-year quarterback and running your offense. That's how you get to that. Now, Mike Vrabel's not there yet, but certainly he comes in bringing his own people. There's this control aspect that Vrabel and Belichick have, that a lot of the good coaches around the league have. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? They want to shop for the groceries, so to speak. So for better or worse, they have that control. And we saw that right away with New England. As soon as Vrabel came in, Ryan Cowden comes in, VP of Player Personnel. Worked with him in Tennessee for years. 1 year with the Giants, and then bam, he's with the Patriots, looking right over Elliott Wolf's shoulder with a massive upcoming draft. Right away, Vrabel shows he's going to have a hand in the way the roster is built. Not by naming himself the GM, but by getting his people in there so they know the direction that Vrabel wants to go. Then Vrabel pulls a patented Bill Belichick move. He cuts the dead weight. And there are a lot of coaches still, even in 2025 in the NFL, that are afraid to do that, especially when they get right in the door. And how many lame duck coaches do we see around this league that are just yes men? Pretty much everybody that's run the Dallas Cowboys on the field the last 30 years, huh? I mean, seriously. Vrabel was not that, is not that. Belichick certainly was not that. So he cuts the dead weight. No matter who it is, no matter who it offends, no matter how long these guys have been playing here. Instead of letting David Andrews retire right off into the sunset after 10 years and 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots, they released him. They unexpectedly released him. And part of the Belichick thing is we don't really remember. We're not clamoring for David Andrews right now. great a player as he was, great a leader as he was. And he wasn't the only one, man. Dietrich Wise, Jonathan Jones, Jawan Bentley, Joe Cardona, Jacoby Brissett, all released. No one from any of the Super Bowl Patriots teams is left. No one. Vrabel just cut it all out. And I'm not saying it's a bad move, right? I mean, the team was coming off back-to-back 4-win seasons, right? I'd like to get most of the players out of there. And again, you're not hearing about these guys around the league. Of course, Jacoby Brissett, I think, just set an NFL record a couple weeks ago, but you're not clamoring for Jacoby Brissett, are you? And then after that, he wasn't done. Guys who were seen as foundational pieces for this Patriots team, mainly under Bill Belichick, but also some under Gerard Mayo. We're talking Devon Godshaw, Jalen Polk, second-round pick, Kyle Duggar, Keon White, all traded. Traded for nothing else other than a fresh start. That's Belichickian. That is straight out of the Bill Belichick playbook. And then the stories come out, right? About how he just works these guys. He works them like dogs all week. Pure situational football, grueling practices, meltdowns over the details. That's Belichick right there. So yeah, Vrabel didn't coach under Belichick, but it seems he has the best Belichick traits. And obviously did play under him for a long time. And even as a player, was championed for, that attention to detail, that intensity, that first one in, last one out kind of mentality. So is he a Belichick disciple? No. You're not bringing in a guy who was part of the regime that won you 8 games in the 2 seasons before this and saw this franchise absolutely plummet in the 2020s. He is not part of that. But why it's such a great hire and why it would have been such an even better hire if you brought him in 24 is that he has the positive traits, right? He has all of those. And, some of the negative ones came out in Tennessee, by the way, but he has all the positive ones. The game in New Orleans was the first time that I noticed there's definitely some Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel. This moment at the end of the game is when I knew he had the good Belichick traits. Let me take you back. So they'd been dealing with utterly incompetent refereeing the entire game. Remember, they took a couple touchdowns off the board for the Patriots that just made no sense. And with 2:33 left in the game, the Patriots passed to get the first down and run out the clock. Bold move, but you got your quarterback. He's on a heater. Get the first down. Now let's run the clock down. Pass complete. But Kayshon Boutte was ruled out of bounds. So Mike Vrabel challenged the play, which is kind of a risk because no one knows what a catch is in the NFL anymore. And, surviving the ground and all that crap, all kinds of stuff can pop out. You've already gotten the best result, which is a first down, right? Wrong. He challenged the play to get the call corrected to Boutte being inbounds and the clock running. I mean, who does that? He's so good at situational football, he realizes the first down is actually secondary for the most important thing that you can accomplish there. The most important thing is to get the clock running. You're getting a first down so that you can run out the clock. And so right after that, after he's challenged and he's gotten the call he wants, he's still apoplectic. Right after that, he runs back up to the refs before the ball is snapped, because the play clock was set to 25. He argues and gets it corrected because it should be set to 40 seconds so that he does not have to run a play before the 2-minute warning. Remember, the clock was at 2:33. Then after the warning, Saints have no timeouts. He takes 3 knees and the game is over. That is chess, while everyone else is playing checkers. That is Bill Belichick to a T. Perfect. And at the time, I was on here saying, you think Gerard Mayo is going to do that? I don't know if Dan Campbell would have done that. He's a pretty good coach in this league. Don't know if Ben Johnson would have done that. So we're not just talking about good, smart coaches. We're talking about the smartest, the details. Like, think about that sequence, man. They get the first down. He runs to like a couple more plays. They're probably going to get another first down. They're going to run out the clock. Instead, he's challenging it to make sure it's the right call and that the clock keeps moving. That is chess, while the rest of this league is playing checkers. So to me, all the good traits of Bill Belichick are there. And certainly, there were some negative Belichick traits that came out at the end, right? His drafting took a dip outside of the Christian Gonzalez pick. The last couple of, Marcus Jones, I guess, as well. The last couple of years with Belichick as a drafter were not good. Last couple of years of Belichick as a GM were not good. And so there are some negative traits there that Vrabel also kind of exemplified in his time in Tennessee. They didn't draft well at the end. They ended up cutting a first-round pick before he even really played a game for them. So that is a big difference. But where he probably differs the most is after the game. Everything leading up to it, the drilling, the situational football, working them like dogs, like that is Bill. That is Bill Belichick. Pre-game and in the game, he has a lot of those same traits. But after he works them like dogs, Mike Vrabel, he then greets every player individually as they get to the locker room to congratulate them. Yeah, I don't think Bill was doing that. I really don't think Bill was just doing that regularly, shaking hands with all 53. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but that didn't happen a lot. Now, granted, 11 of his 13 games in charge, they have won, so there's a lot more of that. There's a lot more positivity going around. He treats the media kind of like humans. Humans he doesn't like, but he doesn't treat them like human garbage, like Belichick did all those years. He kind of tickles Karen Guregian's belly, so that's a little different. But now that the comparison between the coaches is set, now that we've set that precedent in The Athletic, they're going to take it a step further, because of course they are. The Athletic also points out how familiar some of these Patriots teams look. And I quote from the article from Mike Sando. Quarterback Drake May is in his second season, same as Brady was then. And while no one should compare the two players based on what we know about Brady's full career, May has been at least as impressive this season as Brady was in the 2001 regular season after replacing the injured Drew Bledsoe. May entered the Patriots Week 14 bye as the MVP betting favorite after all. Yeah, statistically, May is having a better season than Brady had in 2001. But, do we really remember Tom Brady's 2001 regular season? Do we remember those stats? Do we remember that, most of the snowball, he wasn't very good? The whole team wasn't very good? No, we don't remember that. We don't. Most of us don't even remember that he went out in the AFC Championship game. Drew Bledsoe had to come back in. What we remember is the fact that they won the Super Bowl. Because here's where you're losing me. I'm really not buying into this, 2001 Patriots, just like this year, just because Drake May's in his second year. That's basically all you got. That team in 2001 started 5-5. This year's team is 11-2. That team was 21st in the league in passing yards. This team is second. 2001 team, for as good as they were defensively, as good as their defensive personnel was, they were middle of the pack stopping the run, smack in the middle of the league. This team's top 3 in the NFL, just in terms of rush yards allowed. And let's be honest. Were we all surprised at just how good Drake May has been this year? Yeah, we are. But if you asked us on draft night what we'd hope he'd be, this is the kind of season that would be exactly what was on our lips, that we were going to expect that at some point. He was drafted to be the savior of this franchise. So yes, it is surprising that it's happened this early, especially coming off a 4-win season in his rookie year. But this is not a coming out of nowhere story like Tom Brady was, or the 2001 Patriots were. Like, he is supposed to be the savior of the franchise. You are supposed to be talking about the future and potentially planning parades because he's on your team, right? It's not Tom Brady or Kurt Warner. It's more Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. It's a lot more like that than it is Brady or Warner or Romo or Prescott. It's not coming out of nowhere. So no, this is not the reincarnation of the 2001 Patriots. Sorry to say, Patriots fans. It's not a bad thing because so far they've been even better. But again, no one remembers the 0-1 Pats for the regular season, do they? No, because it's going to take a lot to end up being better than them. You can't necessarily be better than them at the end of the season because they won the Super Bowl. But yeah, I think Mike Vrabel has all the good parts of Bill Belichick. And it will be fascinating to see. I don't think he's going to have the same success because 6 Super Bowls is something nobody else has ever done. But if he gets a modicum of the success, it'll be interesting to see how ownership handles it. They didn't handle the Parcells thing well. Mostly Parcells didn't handle that well. And they didn't handle the Belichick thing well. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. They probably should have gotten rid of him before that. They probably shouldn't have put up with his crap before that. But then the way they handled it at the end was also pretty poor. So that'll be interesting to look at. Does Mike Vrabel remind you of Bill Belichick? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, we come at you live on YouTube every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart. Before we look ahead at what we're going to next, I love when the chat gets involved. So thank you guys. If you're watching live on YouTube, get involved in that chat. Seriously, if you're watching after the fact, get in the comments section. I see a lot of those too. And in a discussion where, Mike Vrabel is like Bill Belichick, we get such great musings as this. Patriots has a real easy schedule. Thank you, Malik. I don't know what the fuck that had to do with anything. But they play the NFL any given Sunday. The Bills lost to the Dolphins earlier this year, a Dolphins team that's won like 6 in a row, 4 in a row, 5, whatever it is. So I'm so sick of this. Patriots has a real easy schedule. Crop dusting, laying out this nauseous fart and walking away. Great, man, sick. They've won 11 of their 13 games. Awesome. The Bills play the same divisions as the Patriots. They're not 11-2. The 2 best teams they faced this year, they've beaten them both in the Bills and the Bucks. But yeah, sure. Real easy schedule. No one gave a shit until the Patriots had one. No one gave a shit. Anyway, let's keep with the Patriots here. Because the Chiefs must have the toughest schedule of all time at 6-7. Let's compare the all-time great tight end for the Patriots, the all-time great tight end for the Chiefs. Who is the GOAT, Travis Kelce or Rob Gronkowski? Let's go over some key facts and figures next on the Wicked Boston Show.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at auraorganic.com.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
Back here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart here on Rogue Media Sports Network. Talking some Patriots today. We talked the Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick comparison because I'm starting to see that obviously from that Athletic article. I'm seeing it on social media too. And so I said, what better time then than to do another historical comparison here? Because one that I'm seeing a lot on the timeline now is about the tight end GOAT. I don't know where it's coming from. You know, Travis obviously isn't having a great year. The Chiefs are not having a great year. But I am starting to see it pop up a lot again. Travis Kelce or Rob Gronkowski. Who is the NFL tight end GOAT? This really isn't going away, is it? It's not. It's not. I'll tell you what. If this came down to a poll where the 14-year-old girls and the 30-year-old women who have never watched an NFL game get a vote, it's no contest. Travis Kelce, the famed gym teacher, he's going to win every time. Right? That's just how it is. For these women whose entire personality is the blandest singer you've ever met, then yes, it's going to be Travis Kelce. Now, for those of us who watch the league and know the guys outside of who they're sleeping with, it's not as certain. It becomes actually a pretty interesting debate. I find this actually very similar to the Tom Brady-Peyton Manning debate in a few glaring ways. First off, like Brady and Manning, their careers overlapped quite a bit. So the average NFL fan has seen plenty of both of them in a lot of big games, right? And second, and I think most importantly, it reminds me of the Manning-Brady debate for this distinct reason. Whichever one of these players you have as the greatest of all time at their position, the other guy is the second greatest of all time. Like that part isn't really a debate. You know, Brady Manning at the time, you know, now you can throw in Mahomes or whomever, but like at the time, it was Brady's number one, Manning is number two. So Brady's better than Manning, but like it's nothing to hang your head about. Like, but with all due respect to this argument, to Tony Gonzalez and Shannon Sharp and Kellen Winslow and those guys, these are the 1 and 2. Gronk and Travis Kelce. These are the two guys. Y'all unks, you had your time, but these are the two. Especially with how much the position has grown, thanks in large part to these two, but really thanks in large part to one. It's also important to note that these two resumes are not created equal because they're affected by the great equalizer in NFL careers, and that is injuries. Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce are the same age. One still suits up in the NFL every Sunday. The other's been on the Fox desk the last few seasons, okay? Travis will always have more games and always have a lot of the counting stats over Gronk for this reason. Now, stats are, of course, very important. I'm not going to run away from that. I'm not going to say we're just going to throw stats out of the debate entirely. But if we only went off that, Ray Bork would be the greatest Bruins defenseman ever, not Bobby Orr. So it just doesn't work that way. In the head-to-head career matchup, by the way, Kelce has the edge over Gronk in a lot of those counting stats. Again, the receptions, the receiving yards. He's played 45 more games. I shouldn't say head-to-head because head-to-head, it's actually pretty funny. Gronk beat him like every time. So like their teams beat Kelce's team every time. Funny though, Gronk still has the edge with 10 more touchdowns than Travis Kelce. Even after all this time, even after not playing the last 3 years, and Travis Kelce having some great years in the 2020s, Gronk still has more touchdowns all time. They both have immense postseason success, obviously. They've both played with the best quarterback of a generation. Gronk has 4 rings. Kelce has 3. since this is probably Kelce's last year, I imagine he'll end with 3. Kelce has the most NFL postseason, has the postseason record in the NFL for receptions, receiving yards by a tight end, touchdowns by a tight end. And the latter 2 were Gronk's records. So we're talking about back and forth, 1 and 2. And for what it's worth, Kelce's 3 most prolific seasons are better than any of Gronk's seasons based on receiving yards. And that's where our first problem lies. Pretty much all of Gronk's seasons are incomplete. So by taking the single season numbers, it's again just a little misleading. How about this? Gronk played 16 games in a season just twice in New England. 2 times did he play 16 games. And they were his first 2 seasons in the league. The lingering knee, ankle, back problems. They put him on the operating table 9 times in his NFL career. And I feel like Ed Rooney. 9 times. Led him to not 1, but 2 premature retirements. The dude's only 36 right now. Retired when he was 33. You know, like he should still be playing based on his ability. But the availability, no. Travis Kelce has a third of the surgeries that Gronk had, and 2 of them were cleanups. That's a lot of luck that Gronk just didn't have. I'm not saying that either of these guys didn't take care of their bodies, but like Gronk, the only way to bring him down was to go low on him. And that led to a lot of his injuries. Travis Kelce, for the most part, takes care of his body, but has gotten a lot luckier than Gronk. And Kelce leads Gronk in all-pro nods, but in the 5 seasons with the Patriots where Gronk actually played 14 games or more in a season, in those 5 seasons, he was first-team all-pro 4 times. The only other one was his rookie year, which he still had 10 touchdowns. When he was healthy, Rob Gronkowski was the best tight end in the league, no question. Not even close to a debate. And for whatever this is worth, because I don't think it's the end-all be-all of the argument, there is no Travis Kelce without Gronk. You know, Kelce can't really help that. But it's worth noting that there is no Travis Kelce without Gronk. You look at the tight end usage before Gronk got in the league in 2010 and compare it to now, it is astronomically different. Like I am talking night and day difference. Taking you back 15 years, a guy coming in the league at 6'6", 250 was not running patterns. He was not doing it in the league. He wasn't running patterns in college. That dude was a blocker. That was it. But in 2011, Gronk changed the game forever. It's genuinely one of the most impactful single seasons for a position of any position in the league in any year. He smashed every tight end single season record, namely touchdowns, receiving yards, and receptions, just to name a few, and became the first tight end in NFL history to lead the league in receiving touchdowns. That was the Patriots unleashing something. And yes, Rob Gronkowski unleashing something. They ran 2 tight end formations and were throwing to them. That didn't happen in the league before this. Didn't happen. Without that season, there's no way Andy Reid utilizes Travis Kelce the way he ends up doing. No chance. And look, Kelce's still a terrific player, obviously. Andy Reid's a terrific coach. But without that 2011, there's none of that. And at the end of the 2010s, there was a poll. NFL defensive players voted Gronk as the toughest non-quarterback to play against in the entire league. And you see it in the highlight tapes. No one could bring him down. Corners couldn't bump with him. Linebackers couldn't run with him. It was unfair. He was the league's first cheat code at that position. Like just an absolute cheat code. Throw it up to him, he'll go and get it. And he's still the greatest red zone threat in NFL history. There's no doubt in that. Like, that's the reason why he's still got 10 more touchdowns than Travis Kelce. And he's played 45 less games. When you come down to it, the game is about scoring. And no one scored better at that position than Rob Gronkowski. Automatic, man. Fade routes, post routes, like inside the 20, who was stopping him? No one. And finally, the part of the debate that comes up a lot in Rob Gronkowski's favor. Is anyone bragging about Travis Kelce's blocking? I mean, he's fine. He's actually okay at it. But can he make an impact on the game without making a catch? No. Not the way that Gronk can, anyway. Yeah, you'll have to key on him for sure, but you had to key on Gronk, of course. But like in a game where you're running the ball down another team's throat, Travis Kelce doesn't play a huge part in that. You know, they're throwing shuffle passes to him. They're doing end arounds, whatever the fuck. But I'm talking like line up 11 against 11, run the ball down your throat. Travis Kelce doesn't have a part to play in that. Gronk did. I remember in 2014 when Jonas Gray ran for 4 touchdowns against the Colts. It was Sunday Night Football. And Tom Brady said after the game, the best player on the field was Rob Gronkowski. Now, he did also catch a touchdown in that game. But he famously threw, was it Sergio Brown? Threw him out the club when he was blocking for one of Jonas Gray's touchdowns. It was like a scene out of The Blind Side. There was a game where you had a running back come in and run for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the quarterback saying actually the tight end was the best player. No one fears Travis Kelce as a blocker. No one does. He's not a guy who can just not come off the field because he gives you too much in the run game. Gronk never caught shuttle passes because he was too valuable a blocker or a deep threat. Not one of these just like, throw it to him 3 yards in front of the line of scrimmage guys. No coach in the NFL is going to say, shit, we got to overload that side of the field. That's where Travis Kelce's blocking. No, they're not saying that. They're not sending their edge rushers to the other side of the field. In fact, they're doing the opposite. And yet that's half the tight end's job. Legitimately, still. Running out of the pocket is not half the quarterback's job. Scoring touchdowns is not half of the cornerback's job. That's gravy for those guys. That's bonus. But to be a tight end in this league, tight end, blocking is half your job, if not more. There are guys who stay in this league because they can only block. And Gronk was way, way, way better than Travis Kelce at blocking. So yeah, years from now, kids are going to be looking at the Football Reference page and they'll stack the counting stats side by side. And later on in the day, they'll see Travis Kelce at the Met Gala wearing a top hat and a monocle and some shit and think, boy, how was this ever a debate? Clearly, it's Travis Kelce. But those of us who watched it, who lived it, who studied it, week after week, Gronk is the pick. No one tight end ever struck more fear into an opposing coaching staff or an opposing defense than Rob Gronkowski. End of story. So if we're going to make it a popularity contest, if we're going to do which one has the bigger podcast, Lord knows I care about that kind of thing. Or who they're dating or marrying, then yeah, Travis Kelce's probably going to get the pick. And there are more people in this country who know Travis Kelce is now. Not because of anything he did. In fact, my future sister-in-law, 2 years ago, when this whole relationship was budding between these two kids, at Christmas was saying, like, who the hell even is this guy? Some fucking loser? No, he's the second best tight end of all time. So the popularity contest, Travis Kelce's going to win. But in terms of who you'd rather have on the field, fully healthy, all things being equal, in their prime, it is no question. No question. It is Rob Gronkowski. But maybe I'll just pose the question to you just for shits and gigs. Who do you think is the greatest tight end of all time? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the impossible deal that the Red Sox could pull off this week, the most improbable thing. And no, it's not Joe Ryan, and no, it's not Pete Alonso, but it's someone they had in their grasp not all that long ago, and they could be fleecing another American League team to get him back. Let's talk about it next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Welcome to Kit Bag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kit Bag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com, Kit Bag.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
Everybody at Equalife really has a passion and a real interest in helping people feel well. How much further can we go to get you feeling even better? It is a complete partnership between the two of us.
At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Back here on the Wicked Boston Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke, behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week, live on YouTube. Every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative, Boston Sports Talk Radio. Don't want to hear any of that bullshit, but still want to hear real talk about your teams? It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. We've talked a lot of Patriots. We've done some Patriots comparisons, but really the big news going on this week before we get into Patriots Bills is the winter meetings. Cam, why is that exciting? I don't know. Is Chris Sale exciting? Was Garrett Crochet exciting? Yeah, that's when the Red Sox do their business, the winter meetings. And it's already cooking. The hot stove is cooking on this Tuesday. Edwin Diaz, gone. Kyle Schwarber, staying with Philadelphia. Diaz goes to the Dodgers, by the way, because of fucking course he goes to the Dodgers. Like, of course. And the Pirates miss out on their man in Kyle Schwarber. But, hey, they can at least say they tried. The Red Sox are supposed to be making big money moves in this winter meetings. Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman, bringing him back. Do we get the Joe Ryan trade? And yet, the biggest, weirdest, and most ironic rumor coming out of the Red Sox camp in MLB winter meetings is the catcher they're going after. Because according to Sean McAdam and Chris Cotillo, the Red Sox are interested in bringing Kyle Teal back to Boston. Yes, you remember Kyle Teal, the one-time catching prospect that they traded to the White Sox just last year for Garrett Crochet. He was the best prospect in that deal. Obviously, you had Braden Montgomery as well, and Chase Bydroth. They both played on the Major Leagues roster this year, and so did Kyle Teal. So what is going on? Why do the Red Sox want Kyle Teal back? First off, they probably didn't really want to get rid of him in the first place. But when it came down to him versus Christian Campbell or Marcelo Meyer or Roman Anthony, Kyle Teal was the odd man out. Do the Red Sox wish they could do that over? Possibly. Christian Campbell? Possibly. Right? probably, even though I do believe Campbell could still be a good major league player. But this becomes very funny. Like, you just had him. You drafted him in the first round. You developed him. What's the deal? Now you're willing to go back on that. Maybe it's a smart play. You watched him play a season in the major leagues, and you're thinking, man, a 23-year-old catcher who can hit, that's actually a good asset to have. Would I trade it, hypothetically, trade it for not having the Garrett Crochet that we got this year? Absolutely not. The Red Sox won that trade still, at least 1 year in. But now they're trying to really win it and bring in Kyle Teal as well. The problem for the Red Sox is quite simple, actually. Kyle Teal was good. Kyle Teal looked pretty damn good. He ripped it up in AAA, gets the call up with the White Sox, and was a 2-WAR player over 78 games. Who plays half the season, was not the everyday catcher, and was still a 2-WAR guy. Had an OPS plus of 121, over 20% better than the league average hitter. Had some pop. And by that I mean he hit 8 homers. So I mean, you take 16 homers out of your catcher at this point, your second catcher if you're the Red Sox. He did not look like the moment was too big for him. He looked like an everyday player in the major leagues. And in fact, White Sox people raved about how this young kid was handling a similarly young pitching staff down the stretch. Kyle Teal is one of the building blocks that the White Sox have. There hasn't been a lot of positive on the south side of Chicago when it comes to the baseball team over the last couple of years. Kyle Teal is one of the biggest ones. So I don't know that the White Sox are just out there thinking, yeah, we'll listen to what the Red Sox have to say. They made Garrett Crochet into the second best pitcher in the American League in 1 year when we were shutting him down because the team was so goddamn bad. But yeah, let's see what they want for Kyle Teal. And here's the other part of this that probably plays in the Red Sox favor. The White Sox trade their good players. The last couple of years, the White Sox have operated no different really than the Rays or the Pirates. They have a good player. He's about to cost them money. We suck too bad. We can't sign him. Their biggest signing in their history was for Andrew Benintendi. Okay, this is not a franchise that is willing to splash some cash, even on their young players, as evidenced by the fact that their last 2 great left-handed pitchers they produced both ended up making their bones with the Boston Red Sox, not the Chicago White Sox. They traded Chris Sale. They traded Garrett Crochet. The Sale thing did not work out for them. Moncada and Kopech both flamed out. Right? Braden Montgomery and Chase Wydroth might be decent players in MLB, but the one that they're banking on out of these 2 trades they've done with the Red Sox now, the one player they're really feeling and banking on is Kyle Teal at a premium position, young kid who can hit and play the position defensively. Of course the Red Sox want him back. Why wouldn't you? And here, if they somehow pull this off, which I highly doubt, but if they somehow pull this off, it could be one of the great GM moves in recent memory. If you're able to get a top-of-the-line, bona fide ace in Garrett Crochet and then get back the best prospect that you gave up in the deal a year later, you'll be writing books about that crap. And I say it feels good for now because you don't know how it plays out. I mean, I think Kyle Teal's going to be a good player, but you're going to have to give up some more prospects to get him back. Like, if the White Sox are looking at this thing, they're saying, yeah, sure. Peyton Tolley, Franklin Arias, Luis Perales, David Sandlin, guys who are going to be in the MLB next year, Conley Early. Like, they're asking about everybody. They're asking about Mikey Romero. They're asking about Marcus Phillips. They're asking about Christian Campbell and Marcelo Meyer. They're asking about Brian Bayo. They're asking, what does it mean to you to have a guy who will come in and be your number 1 prospect and play in the major leagues? Because he's our number 1 prospect. And again, played half the season in the majors. Like, We're not just giving him up for a couple of your middling prospects. We're not giving him up for, maybe even Jaron Duran. We're looking for some future benefits here, some future assets. And you really got to turn their head on something because Kyle Teal is a big future asset. Like they already have one. It would make no sense from the White Sox side of things. No sense. And in fact, he's probably going to be their starting catcher next year. They're looking to move on from Cuero if they're going to move on from a catcher. So don't know how it would make any sense from Chicago's side. If you're the Red Sox and you can pull it off, fucking brilliant. Do it. Let's go. Worry about the carnage later. As long as you're not giving up Meyer or I guess Campbell maybe. And you're not giving up both the pitching prospects. Let's see. There's a high premium on young catchers who can play every day and who can hit. It's one of the most valuable assets in all of Major League Baseball. The Red Sox have a good defensive catcher who half the time can hit in Carlos Narvaez. But they need two guys, and they got absolutely nothing out of backup catcher all year long. So Red Sox going out and getting Kyle Teal. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live every weekday, noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio, right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. So thank you to Zach for keeping us on the air. Thank you to you guys for tuning in. And we will see you tomorrow on another edition of the Wicked Boston Show.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.